New Year, Happy New Year to everyone. I figure it would be very appropriate to have Mike lead a goal setting session for all of you.
Exactly. So it's funny that you say that, Tim. I put into ChatGPT this morning, give me the top 5 things to help achieve your goals in 2025. And it came up with things specific to what I've been working on, what I've been working through in my ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Like number one, it was like develop a strategic business plan. And then number two is enhance networking and relationship building. Number three, strengthen your online presence. Four, focus on personal and professional development. And five, implement robust systems and tools to achieve your. So I'm like, that's not that that's helping me specifically. I was looking for more of a global enhancement to that, and so I want to I want to go back and I want to start with, can anybody put their top 2 things they're looking to achieve in 2025 in the chat? Just your top two. What are your top 2 goals? I'm not sure what made the balloons go. What are your top 2 goals for 2025? Personal, professional, it doesn't matter what those are. Do you really want to be specific? You want it to be measurable. And I don't really like the SMART thing, but the SMART, it always keeps me grounded. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant. And then what's your time frame around it? Because if you don't have a time frame around your goal, it's just a dream. Reach 10,000 YouTube subscribers. In what time frame, Grant? Just in 2025, Q1, top first 3 months of the year. What's the time frame
Uh,
around the
for
10,000?
six months.
So great. So now that we know by June 30th, we want to have 10,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that's our goal.
How do we go and we work that backwards? What do we have to start doing today so by June 30th we're at that goal?
Uh, yes, using ChatGPT to create contents or help us to create contents. My goal is weekly for the long form of the videos. Long form means around 10 minutes or ish, and the daily is shorts, every shorts, and also improve the quality of the video. So basically, when I using some tools to improve the thumbnails and the titles and the description, we can see that the view number is jump up if you put some effort on it for each videos. So
So I
I
love
can
that.
say
So,
it's achievable.
or is it? Here's a detailed Instagram growth plan for the next 60 days to 5x my followers. And I just put, I want a detailed growth plan into ChatGPT yesterday on helping me grow my fund that I'm going to be raising to do private credit with, or debt. It's a debt fund. And this thing gave me so much information, but now for it to be a goal of mine, I actually have to implement the strategy to make that happen. So we all set goals in January, and I'm not sure why January is the best month or the end of the year, but every single year, my wife and I, we sit down before Christmas or before, not before Christmas, before the end of the year. And here's my end of the year 2024: faith, family, fitness, finance, and relationship. That's what I do every single year. And literally 2 days before the New Year's, me and my wife sat down over dinner and we went through what our goals are. And then we start to put them together as a family goal. So then whatever's that I have that she has becomes priority number one. And then once our priority ones are done, then we splinter off and we'll work on our own personal ones. Like we both have fitness goals to be to the gym 3 to 4 times a week to push weights. And then we want to do 15,000 steps 5 times a week. So in the morning when we wake up, I'm like, "Are you ready for the gym?" She's like, "No." I go, "Great. Put on your shoes because we're going to put the leash on the dog and we're going for a 15,000 step walk." So at least we get one of the two done. And it's me driving her or her driving me to do that. And it's really important that you are working with your spouse so that you're both on the same sheet of music heading in the same direction. Does that make sense? That way, if you have a food or a weight goal and you're like, "I want to be on a protein only diet," and your wife's not bought in on it, and you come in from the office or a hard day at work and you're like, "Wow, look at all this pasta and baked goods that don't really align with my eating goal." You want to make sure that you guys are in line and aligned with each other's goals. So then you're not crushing hers and she's not crushing yours. You're actually lifting each other up. And so the way I like to really do my own personal goals, I like to do 30, 60, and 90-day goals. Because if I get too far out over my skis, it's hard to see and it's hard to really do it. So I've done Tony Robbins Platinum Partnership and I've done Date with Destiny like 5 times. And they want you to do your 30, 60, 90, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year goals on your vision board. And the reason you do it on a vision board is so then you have something, you can hang it up in your office. You can take a picture of it, put it on the mirror and print that, put it on the mirror in your bathroom. You put it on the back of your door in your office. You want to visualize it and see it on a daily basis. That way it becomes part of your subconscious. And your subconscious will actually get you to your goals quicker because when you see it, breathe it, feel it, eat it, digest it on a daily basis, your mind will automatically drive you to that outcome. So the very first time I did the vision board at my very first date with Destiny, my 30, 60, 90, 1, 2, and 3 year goal, or 1, 3, and 5 year goals, I was in 60 days. I had all my 30, 60, 90, 1 year, and 3 year goals completed in the first 60 days. It's visualization. You have to see it. You have to be reminded of it because we can sit here today and write down our top 10 goals for the year. And then we put it back here on the shelf and there it sits and we get to June or we get to April and we're all in Dallas talking about, wow, it was beautiful that in January we talked about our goals. But now we're in April. Have we even gotten to number 1 yet? So I want to tell you what I was doing last night with my wife. We went to dinner with a friend. He happened to pop into town and didn't tell anybody he was coming. He sends me a text. He goes, "Hey, I'd love to get together and have oysters with you." but I'm a 2-star restaurant kind of guy. Don't take me to the high-end places you've taken me to before. And we go to dinner, and we between him, my wife, and I, we devour, I think, 64 oysters over dinner, something like that. It was close. But then me and my wife come home, and what did we do? We sat in front of our thing and we go, what are our goals for this year? So we had this magazine because I wanted to do this like a week ago and I haven't had a chance to. I wanted to go to the grocery store and buy some magazines. Well, she just pulled these magazines out of our own thing, and she ripped out like 4 pages of different places we're going to go this year. And then she pulled out this one. This is what I'd love for my kitchen to look like. And she ripped some pages out of here. And we just started creating our own vision board for our family. And what kind of food are we going to be eating to actually make our lives better? And this is literally unscripted, untethered, not even thought about. When we got home from dinner last night from being with another friend, and and when we talked over dinner, what are our financial goals for the year? What businesses do we want to buy? How much capital do we want to raise? What things do we want to start? What companies? What things can we do together? I had no idea this guy was even going to be in town. He was at your event, Tim, in Houston, and he's a good friend of Lev's. He's from Williston, and he's testing jets. He owns a King Air that he flew Lev and some friends that are on the call or he flew them home, but he flew Lev to your event in Houston. And now his thought process is, if I can get from A to B in less time, that's the purpose of upgrading his travel. So what's his goal? His goal is to get more time back with his family and be more present in his business, because he set a goal to go find a new form of transportation. And now he's already setting in motion his test driving of these time travelers. And I'm not there. Most of us aren't there on this call. So it doesn't make sense to us why I would have a private jet. But if I could shorten the length of time for my travel, that gives me more time to spend operating my business, thinking about my 20-year anniversary trip for 10 days to the Fountain Life Health Coaching, or getting a Fountain Life coaching membership. You know what I mean? JC's got these goals that he's got here. Muna's got 2 conferences a week and doing a weekly webinar. But you have to be thinking and visualizing and actually putting into motion those things we want to do on a daily basis so we get to where we want to go. So what's the first thing we need to do? We need to be very specific about what our goal for 2025 is. And we need to actually not just say 2025, because if I said, I want to raise $2 million, and I just did this. I jumped on with Zach Happenstall. Everybody knows who he is on the call. He spoke at Tim's event, I think day 2 or late day 1. I don't recall exactly, but I met him there because his brother-in-law, Rob, listened to me speak on day 1 and said, I need to introduce you to this guy. And so he introduced me to Zach. And then when we got home, I reached out to Zach, and his office is literally 6 minutes down the road from where I live. I had a goal of meeting in person, Zach, and having a conversation around, can we do something together? So I had a goal of figuring that out. After our first meeting, he said, I have a deal coming up. Would you like to raise on? I go, sure, send me the information. Let me take a look. And then I corresponded with Tim and some others about setting up my own SPV or my own fund around that. And I literally from like 2 days before Thanksgiving till the 10th of December, raised almost $2 million for that asset because I set a goal from the day I met Zach and said, I want to do a deal with you and I want to prove to you what I can do. I was nervous. I hadn't raised money in almost 2 years. And I wanted to perform. I set a goal. I set a number. I set an outcome for myself. And I took the steps. I visualized it. I printed the material. I put it up on my wall. I visualized every day what I was doing. How many phone calls did I have to make to raise that $2 million? The phone calls I made didn't produce cash in the bank. The messaging that I shared with the people that are in my database, and I only put it out to a small amount because I didn't want to over raise. And here's the interesting thing. Everybody here knows Brad, and I was just on a Zoom with him before we jumped on. So he's okay that I share this. But Brad's like, I'd like to put between $500,000 and $700,000 in that deal with you. When he said that? He said that about 4 days too late because I had already raised my money. And so I reached out to Rob and Jeremy and Zach and said, hey, I have a guy who wants to put between 500 and 700 grand into this opportunity. Is there any room? So Brad had a goal to get in the deal so he could get depreciation for 2024. I had a goal of raising some money. But when I got the message back from Zach and Jeremy Dyer over there, and they said, wow, we'd love to have him. Can you push him into the deal that we're going to raise for in January? And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. You go, why? They go, we're overfunded. What's the best news you can ever tell an investor when they want to put money in the deal? The best news you could tell them is, I'm really sorry. I know your goal was to get into a deal in 2024, but you're sitting on the bench and not executing cost you your ability to get into a deal. I had a goal to raise my money. I raised mine. And then my friend wanted in and I couldn't even get him in. He had a goal and I had a goal, but I reached my goal before he committed to be part of my goal. So now my goal is to make sure I take care of my friend in 2025 because he missed out on 2024. But you always need to be reaching out for your goals. And you never know when a goal is going to pop up in your mind. Like when I met Zach, I was like, I'd like to meet him. Maybe I could do a deal with him. And all of a sudden he's got a great deal. And I'm like, I want to do something with him. And now I want to raise this much money for the deal so I can prove to him I'm capable. So goals aren't only to prove to someone else you're capable. The main thing is there to prove to yourself that you're capable. And when you look at this and you go, what do I want to do this year? Whether it's I want to go to Scottsdale, Sedona, skiing. You don't have to go to some tropical place to have a travel goal. The deal is when you see it, how does it make you feel when you do it? So if your goals don't create a feeling in you, which is the pull, it pulls you to the goal. That feeling does. If you don't have a feeling towards that, you're never going to do it. And so there's two things in the feeling side. I don't know why this thing does this. Two things in the feeling side. One is how great does it make you feel when you achieve it? And the bigger driver is how are you going to feel if you don't make it? Because we will move mountains to avoid pain more than we will move mountains for success. So when I wake up every morning, I want to do more for my family to be successful then I would want to go and tell my wife how unsuccessful I was for the day. So I will move so many more mountains to be successful, so I don't have to tell my wife how unsuccessful my day was. Because at the end of the day, I want to be loved for achievement than being loved for failure. And so I work harder to be successful so I don't have to be a failure. I hear you. Thanks, Rachel. I see you. I see you, and I read your message, and thank you. I get that. Yeah, there's other ways that you can still get the depreciation. Yeah. So, and then your goal has to be measurable. I wanted to raise this much money. I actually went $200,000 over, but they took it because it was already cash in the bank. And I'd been telling them as I was going how much money I'd already had in the bank. And they were surprised at how much money comes in to the bank as quickly in that short period of time that I was raising. And I achieved my goal. So I was specific with what I wanted to do. I had a measurable goal with the dollar amount, and I achieved it. And now, what does that do for me in Zach's eyes? It makes me relevant. It makes me, I'm on the map. Jeremy literally said, I'm coming to town. Jeremy Dyer, who's in charge of Zach's capital stack. So just in case you're unaware of who he is, um, he's coming to town in January. When he booked his trip, first thing he did, and he goes, and he texts me, he goes, this is the first thing I'm doing. He goes, I'm reaching out to you. I'm in town the 13th or the 11th, 13th through the 15th. Can I have a dinner with you? And he reached out literally right after day after Christmas. I'm coming to town on these days and I want to make sure I get together with you. And so now I'm relevant to them and they want to make sure they stay in front of me because I can help them when they need it. And so now I'm relevant to them. And that makes me feel really good because me and my wife were like, we're going to set a goal and we're going to make sure we achieve it so that they know we exist in their ecosystem. And so now I feel relevant. And I had a time frame, a short window. So even though I hate calling it a SMART goal, when we joined on their team, it was a specific goal, it was measurable, we achieved it, now we're relevant, and we had a certain time frame to live by. So SMART goals, it's relevant, it's part of what we do, but it's more of who I am. And any goal, like the vacations, they're getting on the calendar in the next 3 days, and that just came up last night because we want to make sure that we honor what we want to do. Because the hardest thing to do is say, wake up January 1, go, okay, I'm going to go to the gym 4 times a week. And then I don't go day one. Now I'm out of integrity with myself. And that goes back to my 7 things of powerful creation or powerful conversation, being in integrity. So if I skip out and I don't go to the gym, or I skip out and I don't get my 15,000 steps in 5 times a week, I'm out of integrity with myself. And all of a sudden I start letting myself down on everything else I do. Like being here on a Friday when most people are still on vacation until next Monday. Tim asked me like 2 weeks ago, could you come on and have a conversation around some goal setting and whatnot? And I'm not really, I'm a goal setter, but I'm a goal getter. So as soon as I set my goal, I want to go get it. I want to make sure because I don't want to let myself down. I don't want to be out of integrity with me because it's tough. Like literally, Phil was in town and he's like, dude, have you lost weight? And I've probably lost like 6 or 7 pounds since the last time, but I've been working out also. But he's lost weight also. He's been very intentional with what he's been up to there. And so am I. every single day. I want to make sure that I'm eating the right foods, doing my walks, pushing the weights, and being in integrity with me. So part of your goal setting might want to include an ounce or two of being in integrity with you. Because if you set these goals and you line them up and you don't achieve them, you're out of integrity with yourself. And the only thing worse than being out of integrity with yourself is lying to yourself. And so let's not lie to each other or lie to ourselves. Let's just honor what we want to do. So my wife wants me to set a budget on a monthly basis on what we're going to spend and how much we're going to save. And what's the most important piece there for her is how much am I going to save? Because that creates safety in a woman's mind, knowing that we are going to be okay. So for me, I'm going to honor that more than I'm going to honor what I think I need to go out and spend, because I want to create that safety for her by saving a certain amount. So we all have different buttons that activate us and make us go and do certain things. But honoring who you are and who you want to be and where you want to go on a daily and an annual or a minute by minute basis. Like for me, I call it doing the next right thing. So if I'm going to do something, say I'm going to get a coffee. I'm going to honor myself and I'm going to get that coffee. Or I'm going to grab my dog and go for a walk. And hopefully he doesn't understand the word because he'll start barking right now because he wants to go always. And he's in the room and my wife's out at a friend's having coffee. And so typically he wants to go. And in the morning he's ready. And so he knows that we're going to go do this, and he'll just come and start barking at me. And I'm like, show me what you want to do. And he just takes me. And I want to honor that because it honors my goal of getting my 15,000. Look at you, right, Rachel? You honor your goal of getting your steps in. So everything you do, you want to make sure you're honoring everything that you want to do in your life. Am I making any sense? I mean, anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments? Anything they want to add, ask, share? Like, I have a goal of being on X number of podcasts. What am I doing to do that? I'm reaching out. I want to be on how many stages? I'm reaching out. Like literally, Brad Sumrock's coming to town on Sunday, and he's having a meetup Monday night. I have a dinner scheduled, and he's like, I really want you to be at my meetup. I go, I know you do. And I know you're staying here at my house, but I'm not going to be there because I already have a commitment to be at a dinner with other investors that will help me get to my other goals. While I could be on a stage at his meetup, it's not in alignment with my goals for this week. And so there's long-term goals, short-term goals, daily goals. Which ones are we honoring? For me, I want to honor them all because it makes me feel out of alignment with who I am when I don't. All of them. That's right, Lav. You want to honor all of your goals. I know you had goals for 2024. Not every single one of them were met. Same with me. But that doesn't mean they're not still on my list of achievables. So Lev says he's got a special guest coming to North Dakota in March. I'd love to be there to support Lev and support the special guest. But my daughter's having a baby end of February, and it depends on when that happens. And when I have the goal of being there to support her for a couple weeks after the baby was born. She had a baby last year, and many of you may or may not know this. But my grandson Harvey was only around for 31 days. I got to meet him. I came home. I was on my way to speak at a event, and the day that I was the next morning when I was leaving, my grandson passed away. And my goal of being on that stage was immediately changed by my goal of being there for my daughter to support her and her husband in their time. And it was completely sad. It wasn't pretty, but it's okay to change your goals when circumstances change and you have to be there for your family. Our goal is always to support our family first. I get it. I'm there. I am just like you. We're so what goals should we have? We should have personal, we should have professional, should probably have family goals, and they're all important and they can all be accomplished on a day-by-day basis. Every single one of them. So that's how you want to. That's how I keep saying that's how you should, and nobody wants to be shit on. So I'm not going to shit on you. I'm just going to tell you what I do. I think of what I'm going to do next, and is that in alignment with the outcome or the goal I have for myself? And if it's outside of the lines, I'm like, is it okay to be outside the lines on this one, or do I need to refocus and get back into alignment with where I'm heading? That making sense? So if we're operating with our blueprint, our goal list for family, professional, personal, relational, you can have a different goal for your relationship with your spouse, your friends, your partners, your golf buddies. But you want to make sure that when you step out on a daily basis, am I in alignment with my outcome? And if I'm not, is that one okay? Not that you don't want to be saying okay to extracurriculars that aren't in alignment with where you're heading. Otherwise, you're going to end up going, I've had to sacrifice my true goals for an okay. Am I going to go to Columbia again? Am I going to go to Dallas? Am I going to go to this other thing in Florida? Am I going skiing? Why, like I'm going skiing on the 25th with like 15 guys. They're groups called Ski Dogs. And me and my wife hooked up with them last winter in Vail for a dinner. I've never skied with these guys for a dinner. And all of a sudden I've been invited. Well, each guy is an entrepreneur. Each guy, uh, each guy is in alignment with things I want to learn. So that's why I'm going on this trip. So I would like for everyone on the call in the chat to share your top 2 goals that you want to achieve in, let's say, the next 90 days. I know you put in your 6-month one grant for the viewers on your YouTube to get to 10,000. That would be brilliant. But maybe we share in the chat your top 2 goals and how we can help get you in alignment with those over the next 90 days, and how we can hold each other accountable as a group to push us all, put our chips into the center and say, these are the top 2 things I think you want to do, that you said, Lev, that you want to do, and how can I help you get that? Or these are the top 2 things Rachel wants to do, or the top 2 things JC or anyone else that's in the meeting. Those are your top 2 things you want to achieve over the next 30, 60, 90, 180 days. And how can we work together as an alliance as a hero mastermind group to lift each other up and help hold each other accountable for getting to where we want to go. I think if I'm going to scroll up, I think Tim said he wanted to raise $10 million and grow the alliance to 100 members by the end of 2025. How many meetings? How many Zoom calls? How many things do I have to do to get to 100? I don't know how many members it is, and that doesn't matter to me. But how many things do I have to do to get to that 100? So we want to start working it backwards. So here's my goal. What do I need to do? Don't be shy. We could put our two things in the chat. Obtain
Yeah.
300 unit. Go ahead, Tim.
Yeah, and as you mentioned about like your goals to get on more podcasts, it gave me the idea, and we can do more things like this as a group. Like if we um for those of you who want to get on podcasts, because there's a lot of things that we have resources we have available for you, and we don't always know when you need them or want them. And so a podcast as an example, let's say um, you know there's a number of you that wants to get on, let's say, 5 podcasts a week as an example. We can create a like an accountability group on WhatsApp, and then like I can have my team put in the group, let's say 100 podcast shows a week, and then your job is to go and reach out to those people, so that way you get yourself booked on on podcasts or something to that effect, where we have the database, but rather than like you having to remember to go into the members area to get access to it, we can just send it to you in a WhatsApp group. But ideas like that, whenever there's more than one of you, there's a number of you that have the same goal, that we can put you guys into, like, let's say, some of you have a fitness goal, we can put you in a fitness group, accountability group, things like that. Well, yeah, what are y'all's thoughts on doing something like that?
Yeah, like I'm in a platinum partners group with Tony Robbins, but then out of that, somebody's like, I'm gonna do 75 hard. Who wants to join me? And then they form another WhatsApp group, and everybody chimes in on a daily basis on what they did for their morning workout, what they did for their afternoon workout, because you're supposed to do 2 workouts a day for 75 days. And then how are you eating and blah blah blah. But it's more of a support mechanism to keep us
Yep.
moving forward. And
Yeah.
I'm here to support any and all of that Tim wants for you guys, and I want it for you. Personal and professional growth. How do you what does that look like? I mean, that's a little. I'm going to say that's a little broad, but personal growth. I want to have, or professional growth. I want to have 5 more contacts in the next 60 days that are relational, that I can count on when it comes time for me to do this in business or raise money or what. Just you want to keep it. You really want to get specific, so then when you hit it, you've achieved it. And here's one thing that I had a guy that I did New Year's with. His name's John Madsen, and if you put him in your phone on Instagram, you'll see him. He played for the Raiders for 3 years. Anytime him and his wife hit a specific goal, they go get a prize. And this gentleman, I'm just gonna share with you what he shared with me on Instagram for men. Do you know how much he spends on a daily basis for his ads? Or take a guess on what he spends on his daily basis for ads, or for women on his ads, what he spends on a daily basis, and then what it generates. But he has a goal to spend, and he's got a goal for that spend what it's going to create. He's creating, I'm not going to tell you what he spends, but he gets over a 3x return on his ad spend. If I get a 3x return on my ad spend, there's no amount of money I won't spend. But I've yet to see the return on my spends so far. So I haven't increased my spend. But maybe if I increased my spend, I'd get a better ROI. But you want to have your goals be very specific. Like he goes, if I spend this, I better get a 3x return. He goes, sometimes it's a 4x return. But if I'm not getting a 3x return, I have to change my messaging. So we want to be very specific with our goals so we know when we achieve them. So I know you guys have another call coming up in about 13 minutes, but does anybody want to come on and share what their top goal is for 2025 or their top goal for the next 30, 60, 90 days? Muna, I see your hands up. You want to come on?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming out on a Friday because, it is, it's easier to stay home. I mean, to relax with the kids. And I want to thank all of you too for being on the call. It motivates me too as well. So my one goal that I want to achieve within the next few days is to actually have a vision board, because I have all these goals in my head and I write them down, like you said. And because they're not everywhere. It's easy to forget, after a week. It's like they were talking about the gym, and then my mindset is the biggest thing too, that I want to change my mindset. Well, I tell my kids this: what you hate, it hates you back. So the gym is one thing that that I've been saying absolute dislike, but I'm changing my mindset to say I love the gym. So speaking to myself. So the gym would be one, and then rejection, being okay with rejection. Something that I've gotten better as the year has gone by. But, anybody else have ideas on how to get over that rejection? Because after you push so hard and the answer is no, 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 it does get to you.
Just like in capital raising, every rejection, every no is on its way to a yes. So and that's the rejection. We have to just step up and be a part of it and accept it and just push through it. That's how we get to our goals. I mean, we wouldn't be here in this mastermind if every time we tried something, the answer was no, and we didn't figure out how to find a yes. Lev?
So I'll share a couple of my goals here. So number one, the past 3-4 years, I spent really driving hard, going to events, conferences, and learning. I've really spent a lot of time of education, and it's been great, super valuable. But I've kind of always pushed and put my wife and my family in the back burner. So my number one top goal this year is to work on my relationship with my wife, my family, just work on being a better person in general, aligning myself. And it's kind of funny, I really wasn't originally pushing for a lot of business or real estate goals. And then the last few months, a lot of things, it seems like the less I pushed for business, more things started coming about. Tim approached me about some equipment stuff. And the crazy thing is not just Tim, it's like I've had multiple people from like around the country that have literally been talking to me and bringing up the exact same thing after Tim did. So it's like, and I'm like, well, all these things. I mean, I'm a big believer in the law of attraction. Obviously, you have to take action with that. But so now this working into this business structure and what we're working on, I'm super excited. That is my outside of my personal goals, that is my number one goal, working towards that. While also knowing that I want to put my family first and not, pushing, as you said, being in alignment, integrity with yourself, not shoving my family out and throwing them out how I always have. to accomplish that goal. So that's mine.
So you're up next, Rachel, but I wanted to share something. I just dropped a YouTube video. It's a 14-minute video from Natalie Dawson. That's Brandon Dawson, who is one of Grant Cardone's partners in Cardone Ventures. But Natalie did this 14-minute video, and my wife showed this with me probably 2 weeks ago. And I saved it because I wanted to make sure I shared it today. And I kept thinking, I'm like, what was I supposed to share? What was I supposed to share? But watch this when we're done. It's 14 minutes, put it on 1.5 and listen to it. But how she designed her life going from making 55 grand a year to making almost a $500 million a year. So check that out. And you're up, Rachel.
Hi guys, thank you for coming on Friday. I haven't stopped, by the way. I'm continuing to work. I have been creating a pitch deck that I'm going to put out there through my friend Christian Moore, who has AI bots to bring women in business into my fold. And I'm working on that for 100,000 that can come into our investment opportunity. But at the same time, we're going to have them join our educational background, our educational basis, and teach them, because I feel like all of these courses are just bring money in and then good luck. And I don't want to do that anymore. I want to add value to them, and I want to create something amazing. And my whole process is changed. Over the last year and a half, I realized that, I spent about $150,000 of money that maybe I could have been investing, and I want to give back. So the way I give back is I'm going to add that value to people. And I hope that maybe Michael, you can help me do that. I know that you're an amazing person, and obviously you work hard, because that's hard to do. 2 million in a few weeks. Amazing.
I I think that's beautiful, and you would have no idea. I probably spent $2 million on personal development since 2019. And my number one reason for being here on this platform with Tim for free is to give back. And if I can add value to anyone at any time, sorry, that's why I'm here.
Love you.
I want to give, and if even my wife's like, sometimes maybe you should be charging for what you do. I'm like, it would defeat the purpose. If we can raise money together, we can do a deal together at some point in time. That's where I can receive value back. But by sharing with people and helping them get to the next level and seeing that happen, that brings so much value and joy and fulfillment. Because here's the number one right here for me. Success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure.
100%.
Because I don't want to be on the top by myself. I want to be on the top where we've all the rising tide has brought us all up together. And that's why I think I'm here. I would probably go out on a limb and say that's probably why Hua's here. Hua comes on. This isn't about money. This is about giving back and fulfilling our hearts by being able to share.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you so much, Mike. Really appreciate your love, your generosity, your mentorship in our group. Yeah, you're always such a good, like such a giver. I love that about you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Talking about giving, so I was watching a TED Talk video about giving and how it relates to happiness. And there's this lady, she started a movement called 365 Give. I'll put in the chat here. Basically, she started with her 3-year-old son, and where every day they go and give in some form. That give could be like actual giving in donation. That give could be just picking up trash. That give could just be like sending out a message to someone, just to lighten them up, or sharing a message out on social media. to lift someone up. Like so the giving can mean many things, but the point is that every single day they give in some form. And that I've been thinking about, I wonder how we can do that, within our business, where we can do that for our investor community. We can do that for our syndication community. Um, eh, like we always think about giving in terms of providing content to them, right? But what are other ways of giving we can give to our investors beyond content, that we can build this on? So I want to get your thoughts on that. What if you were to have to do some kind of giving to your investor community each day, and when I say community, it could be to a group, it could be to an individual. What would it look like? And should we take this on as a challenge for us, for our group here, so that way we have a daily gift to our community?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Tim. I think giving to my investors, I think the education part, just constantly educating, because there's a lot that we don't know. And even in the group, I think, and I liked everybody talking about their own goals. Like this meeting was giving because it kind of also helped me clarify some of the goals that I should have, put them in the forefront. So thank you, everybody.
Yep. Yeah.
No, it's always great to be thinking about what your goals are, because they're continuing to evolve and push you forward. So if you don't set them or don't write them down and visualize, but we have to continue to press forward and continue to think forward so that our
That's
goal
better.
is moving us. So hey, 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 hey. You said,
Awesome.
"Hi." He's just a little guy, so I apologize. But we just want to continue but you have to visualize them. If you don't write them down and you don't put it where you can see it, it's going to be hard to remember them. That's the reason you write them down and you do a vision board. So then you see it on a regular basis. That way it gets into your subconscious, and then you start to move that direction, whether you're thinking about it or not. So
Awesome.
that's why I do it that way. And thank you for coming on camera, Muna.
All right, guys. Well, we are on the hour, and then my team is leading the Go High Level session for those of you who need support around that. And yeah, Mike, thank you so much for leading this conversation today. Really, yeah, I love you. I love your generosity. Always, you're always such a
Anytime.
gift. So
Anytime.
thank you so
Take care.
much.